Today we begin our first part in a series called Learn to Crochet. So let's get started. What you're going to need to start your journey into the world of crochet are three things. A good yarn. Right here I have a 4-ply acrylic. I find acrylic is the best to start with because it stays together well. If you go with natural fibers like cotton or wool, they tend to separate sometimes, so this is the easiest to start with. 4-ply is good because it gives you a good feeling for it. You can go with finer yarns later, but this is just a really good one to start with. Then you're going to need a hook. My hook that I am working with today is a size H. You really don't have to worry about what size you're working with to start, but I will tell you that a larger hook like this H is going to be easier for you to use to begin with. Then you're going to need a pair of scissors. I always use thread scissors when I'm crocheting. The most important part of crocheting when you're beginning is how you hold your thread or yarn. So I'm going to show you right now what you do. You take your end of your thread, you wrap it around your pinky finger and pull it across behind your hand and pinch it between your thumb and your middle finger. That's how you hold your thread. When you're holding your hook, you pinch it between your first finger and your thumb and you use the rest of your fingers to balance. You don't want to hold. Start your crochet itself. There are many different ideas on how you pull your first loop. I'm going to show you my favorite. I use this all the time. I've used it since I was like 5 years old. So what you do is you take your hook and you put it under your yarn. Then you twist it around like that. And then you shift your fingers so that you're holding on to the twist. You take your hook under, pull some yarn through your original hook or loop, and there you go. That's your starting point. That's where you're going to start your chain stitch from. This is the very simplest stitch you have in crochet. It's called the chain stitch. Let's do that again. Hook under, yarn over, pull through. Hook under, yarn over, pull through. Hook under, yarn over, pull through. There you go. You have 4 chain stitches. Now when you're starting out, you need to remember that the most important thing is getting everything to be very consistent. You don't want to hold your thread too tight, you don't want to hold it too loosely. You will get a feel for it, but the most important part is that your chain stitches are a consistent size, because when you come back through and do your first row, it's going to be difficult if you have small and then large and then small and then large, so you really want to try to get them consistent. Today what I'm going to show you how to do is a simple dishcloth. You can make it as big or as small as you want, but you're going to want to keep chaining until you get to the width that you want. I'm going to start this dishcloth to be about 3.5 inches long there. So when I get done with my chain, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. Now this stitch is called a single crochet. Can you see how there's those 2 pieces of yarn right there? You're going to take your hook and you're going to go under those 2 pieces of yarn in that second chain from the hook. See? Just like that. Then you're going to take your hook under the yarn, you're going to pull up a loop and pull it through. Then you should have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to do that again. Hook under, yarn, pull up a loop, through. There's your first single crochet. So let's do that again on the next chain stitch. Go through, go under your yarn, yarn over, pull through, hook under, yarn over, pull through, second single crochet. Let's keep doing that all the way across. The thing about crochet is that you can make it as complicated as you want or you can make it as simple as you want. And right now, because you're just starting out, you want to make it simple. Consistency is the key. Practice until you know how it feels to make a consistent stitch. Yarn over. So now here we are on our last stitch of the row. Now you're getting ready to turn. What you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to do 1 chain stitch. Remember to take your hook under the yarn and pull it through. Then you're going to turn your work. Now you're going to do the same thing you did on your first row, except for this time it's going to be easier because you're going through a space. pull through, yarn over, pull through. Hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And keep going till you get to the end of that row. If you look at it at your work and you see it's looking good, then just keep going. If you see that you may have a problem, it's really easy to take care of that. You can just take your hook out and pull the yarn, and it will undo some of the stitches as far back as you need to go, and then you just start again. Hook under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Hook under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Hook under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And just keep going. Now if you're making a dishcloth like I am right here, you're going to want to make it the size of, well, you're going to want to make it about a square. So you want the length to be close to the same as the width. It doesn't have to be exact. So you're going to continue doing your rows. When you come to an end of a row, do a chain, turn, and start over. The reason why you want to do a chain before you start your next row is because it makes it even. If you don't do a chain stitch, it's going to kind of pinch it down, and it's not going to look right. It's going to be smaller in one section than it will be the rest. So you always want to chain when you're doing single crochet rows to start the row. As we keep going through these various parts to this series, I'm going to be teaching you more complicated stitches. Next time we will tackle the double crochet, the half double crochet, and how to turn this single crochet into a rib stitch. Now when we turn the single crochet into a rib stitch, it's going to make it a lot easier to make a even tougher dishcloth. There's going to be a lot more peaks and valleys to it, so it's going to be better in the kitchen. The reason why I like to use dishcloths that I've crocheted is because unlike sponges, you can just throw them into the washer when you're done and dry them, and they come out as good as new. You try that with a sponge and it's going to fall apart. But these do work as well as a sponge, and because there's so many different levels to the depth of the yarn, because it's a type of weave, it works almost as good as a scrubby as well. So that's why I enjoy using these. This is just a really simple project to get started on. Remember, hook under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Hook under, yarn over, pull. So I'm right where I want to be to finish this off. So when you get to your work to the size you're aiming for, the way to finish it is you act like you're doing a chain stitch, except for you pull the loop really long. Then you take a pair of scissors and you cut it at the peak of the loop. You pull your yarn back through and tighten what's left. To finish it off, you're going to do a weave in. You'll take your hook and go through your work. Get your yarn pulled over and pull it through, and continue on until it's in there nice and snugly where it's not going to pull out. Snugly, I'm not sure that's the word, but you get the idea. You want it nice and snug. If you have a lot of leftover yarn, you can always, on your tail that is, you can always cut it off once you feel that it's woven in well enough. I'm going to do that right here. And you're going to want to do the same thing on your beginning tail as well. Put your yarn through your work, or your hook through your work, excuse me, and pull your yarn back through. Sometimes it's not as easy on the opening tail as it is on the ending tail, just because you're going to have a tighter spot because it was the opening chain. But you're going to want to work that through exactly like you did the ending tail. And there you have your finished piece. Remember, consistency is key. I hope you enjoyed making your first crochet work. It's going to be practice, 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 and you will be consistent and it will be perfect. Next week, we are going to work on double crochet, which is the next stitch in progression, and a half double crochet. We are also going to learn the rib stitch, which I mentioned before. And in future episodes, I'm going to teach you how to read a pattern. I'm also going to teach you more advanced stitches, as well as how to do filigree crochet with cotton thread. That part is fun. I will also be teaching you how to make your own pattern. So join us next time at Sandra's Corner.